This week is bringing with it a bunch of big new PlayStation 4 games. We've got a total of 10 new games to go over in today's video. A lot of them high-profile titles, a couple of them a little bit lower key, but something for everyone this week. And again, with 10 games to go over. And before we get into everything, I just want to remind you guys to make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon so you are always notified of uploads. And that definitely helps out the channel too, so we always appreciate that. Let's just get right into it, and I want to kick things off with, without a doubt, the biggest game release of the week, and that has to be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's been a long time coming for this one, and I know that there still is an air of skepticism. However, I am cautiously optimistic, being that this is a Star Wars game being developed by Respawn, a studio that I have a great deal of respect for. The guys that brought you Titanfall, the guys that did Apex Legends, they are an incredibly talented studio that has been a little bit screwed over by EA. I don't want to get into that right now. But Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is shaping up to be a game filled with potential. A galaxy-spanning adventure awaits in Jedi Fallen Order, a third-person action-adventure title from Respawn. An abandoned Padawan must complete his training, develop new powerful Force abilities, and master the art of the lightsaber, all while staying one step ahead of the Empire. While mastering your abilities in the game, players will engage in cinematically charged lightsaber and Force combat designed to deliver the kind of intense Star Wars lightsaber battles as seen in the films. Players will need to approach enemies strategically, sizing up strengths and weaknesses while cleverly utilizing your Jedi training to overcome your opponents and solve the mysteries that lay in your path. There seems to be a pretty decent amount of depth to the gameplay as well, and I know that because this is a Star Wars game, because it's being published by EA, there's gonna be a great deal of skepticism just because of how Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 turned out. Battlefront 2 actually ultimately turned out to be a pretty good game. Unfortunately, the marketing was so butchered in that game that it had absolutely no chance for recovery. In the case of Jedi Fallen Order, obviously this is a single-player focused title. It's single-player entirely. It's gonna be more focused on the narrative, and it's an entirely different game than Battlefront. However, from a Respawn standpoint, really looking at this through the lens of the developer, there is an incredible amount of pressure on them to really deliver with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, because if Jedi Fallen Order doesn't deliver, if it's not a high-quality title, you can pretty much chalk it up for Star Wars and EA. I don't know at that point how you could recover. I mean, they could put out Battlefront 3, they could do a great job with it, and ultimately maybe they'll end up recovering, so it wouldn't be the absolute end of the world, but it is really contingent on Respawn to deliver a high-quality game here with Jedi Fallen Order, and that's an imperative that I think it's going to be really interesting to dissect how this game does. Again, Jedi Fallen Order will be dropping November 15th, so it's just a few days away. Next up, I want to highlight a game that's really going under the radar, and that is Sparklite. Sparklite is an action-adventure set in a whimsical and ever-changing land. Battle foes in a top-down action using an arsenal of gadgets, guns, and gears. Gear up for an adventure and explore dangerous corners of the procedurally generated world, take down titans of the mining industry, and harness the power of the world. This one has a really cool old school look to it. It's got that pixel graphics look, which honestly a lot of games are doing these days, so it's kind of losing its charm a little bit. However, Sparklite does have great presentation, and I'm overall interested to see how the game turns out. If you're a fan of old school action RPGs, this one's probably going to be right up your alley. It seems like it has a relatively high amount of engaging gameplay, and it's inspired by games like Rogue Legacy and The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, so that's pretty good company to be associated with. Sparklite will be dropping on November 14th. Next up, we have Yaga. Yaga is a pretty cool game. It's an action RPG with a charming narrative that adapts to your choices. Set in the world of Slavic folklore, play as Ivan, a one-handed blacksmith cursed with incredibly bad luck. This is a game that also has an awesome visual style. This one a little bit more of a modernized take. However, do expect something a little bit more humorous, a little bit more on the funny side, but also one with a decent amount of depth to it. You'll have to build a reputation through role-playing, and it results in different interactions with villagers and NPCs, unlocking secrets, trading options, or bestowing game-changing curses or blessings upon the player character. If you want something that's a little bit more charming, a little bit more so on the humorous side, Yaga is going to be right up your alley. Moving on from that, if you want an RPG that's more on the Japanese side of things, Romancing Saga 3 is going to be the game for you. The celebrated RPG classic comes to the West for the first time. Experience a brand new HD remaster of the legendary 1995 RPG masterpiece, introducing optimized graphics, a new dungeon to explore, new scenarios, and a new game plus function. Coming from Square Enix, obviously, they are the purveyors of some of the elite JRPGs of the world. Maybe that's going a little bit too far given Square Enix's recent track record. However, they're still very much notable for their outings as far as JRPGs are concerned, and here is another one. Now this one has a relatively, JRPG-esque premise. Once every 300 years, the rise of Morostrom, an event where the Dark Star blocks out the sun, threatens the very existence of our world. All born in that year are doomed to perish before its end. Whether man or beast, none have a chance at survival. However, there came a time when a soul child did survive. He was entranced by the power of death, using it to conquer the world. He came to be known as the Archfiend, yet one day he simply vanished. Another 300 years passed, and again a child defied fate. She did not give it into the same powers that controlled the Archfiend and came to be known as the Matriarch. It has been nearly 2 decades since the previous rising of Morostrom, and 300 odd years since the appearance of the Matriarch. Humanity now stands at the fulcrum between hope and despair. Will there be another child of destiny? Will the child be righteous, evil, or another force that the world cannot fathom? That is for you to discover in the story of Romancing Saga 3. So you can see a little bit of an end of the world story. I mean, totally an end of the world story, so that's in line with your typical JRPG offering. However, it'll still be interesting to see how Romancing Saga 3 turns out, and this one is actually out today, so if you're interested in Japanese RPGs, definitely one to give a shout to. Next up, we have Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. This is very much an old school PC-centric RPG that is now making the transition to the PlayStation 4. Obviously, it might be a little bit off-putting to some people, however, they're trying the best that they can to transition these games to consoles with it still feeling relatively natural. Return to the Forgotten Realms in the best-selling Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game. It combines all the content of Neverwinter Nights Diamond Edition with all new enhanced features, includes north of 100 hours of award-winning adventures. Again, one that might be a little bit of a hard sell to those of you that are more so players of RPGs that were naturally built for consoles. However, we've seen a lot of PC-centric RPGs do relatively well on the PlayStation 4. Whether it be a Pillars of Eternity, a Divinity Original Sin, they've been rather compelling on the PlayStation 4 as well. I'm hoping something similar coming out of Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. Next up, I do want to give a shout to Fractured Minds. Fractured Minds is touted as an immersive artistic short game exploring anxiety and mental health issues. Embark on a journey through the human psyche to experience the everyday challenges associated with these conditions. I think more than ever, mental health is something that's really coming to the forefront, and games dissecting the issues could be something that's rather interesting. We'll see how Fractured Minds turns out, as it is scheduled to be released on November 14th, but I'm really hoping for something compelling out of this one. Next up, we have a very notable PC open-world survival game making the transition to the PlayStation 4, and that is Astroneer. A game of aerospace industry and interplanetary exploration, Astroneer is coming to the PS4, and it'll have you explore and reshape distant worlds. Astroneer is set during the 25th century intergalactic age of discovery, where Astroneers explore the frontiers of outer space, risking their lives in harsh environments to unearth rare discoveries and unlock the mysteries of the universe. In this space sandbox adventure, players can work together to build custom bases above or below ground, create vehicles to explore a vast solar system, and use terrain to create anything they can imagine. A player's creativity and ingenuity are the key to thriving on exciting planetary adventures. In Astroneer, you can reshape the ground under your feet as though it were made of clay, survive on and explore carefully crafted planets that can be entirely deformed and traversed, and much more. Quite a bit of depth to the gameplay. It's been received really well on PC, and it makes the transition to the PlayStation 4 come November 15th. Next up, we have Mad Games Tycoon. Form your own game studio set in the early 1980s in a small garage. Develop your own game ideas, create a team, and develop mega hit video games. Research new technologies, train your staff, and upgrade your office space, going from a lowly garage to a huge building, and expand your business. Obviously, this is a game that takes form of a lot of other management simulation games, but in the form of game development, I think there will be an inherent level of added interest for anyone that is a gamer, because it takes on a relatively interesting premise. Released at $14.99 on PC all the way back in 2016, was received rather well, 3,202 Steam reviews, 90% positive as far as that goes, so making the transition to the PlayStation 4, we'll see how it does on that. And lastly, I do want to round out this list with 2 PlayStation VR titles. First up, we have the highly anticipated PlayStation VR exclusive coming from Highwire Games, their debut title in Golem. Golem is the first title from Highwire, an independent developer founded by industry veterans in Seattle. It's built from the ground up for PlayStation VR and features original music from Marty O'Donnell, award-winning composer of Halo and Destiny, and innovative VR controls developed by Jamie Grasmeyer, game designer on Halo, Destiny, and Infamous Second Son. And in Golem, you play as an adventurous kid who has been seriously injured. You're stuck in home in your bed dreaming of exploring the outside world. You gradually develop the power to create and control stone creatures known as Golem. You see through their eyes, direct their movements, and use them to explore beyond the confines of your room. At first, you can only build small doll-sized golems to send around your room, but eventually your powers are gonna grow until you can send enormous 15-foot tall giants to explore an ancient abandoned city. PlayStation VR has been getting a lot of great games. If you've yet to pick up PSVR, come Black Friday, it is going to be super cheap, $200, coming with 5 games. It's a ridiculous deal, and Golem is yet another interesting title that's coming to PlayStation VR, and it's coming this week. And lastly, another VR title that's very much notable, Doctor Who: The Edge of Time. Join Doctor Who on a mission to save the universe. Doctor Who: The Edge of Time lets fans embark on an adventure through space and time, travel across the universe, visit alien locations, pilot the TARDIS, and solve the mystery of the controlling force behind the reality virus. Again, this one is a relatively notable VR game from a name value standpoint, but we'll see how the game ultimately turns out, as Doctor Who: The Edge of Time will be dropping on November 12th. That's gonna conclude this video. Again, a lot of major PlayStation 4 games coming this week, highlighted by Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but with games like Sparklite, Yaga, Romancing Saga 3, Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition, Fractured Minds, Astra Near, there is a lot of variety in all of the PS4 games dropping this week. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.